Hello! Today we're going to get cozy and talk about some camera gear and my YouTube channel and what's next for me. If you're new here, I'm Justine and I am a hobbyist photographer that makes videos about photography and camera gear. So I have a whole bag of lenses that I'm going to show you. Whew. Okay. So the first lens that I'm going to be selling is the Samyang 24mm f2.8. And I bought it last year with my own money, not sponsored. Samyang does not care if I live or die. And I got this because I wanted a compact, lightweight lens for street photography. However, it really struggles with autofocus. I can't really get into the details of it because it's inconsistent. Sometimes it performs really well and sometimes it really struggles. Again, this is one of those third-party lenses that you should not be expecting superior quality for both photo and video. It's been a year since I made a video about it and I've barely used it since. This isn't the only Samyang lens that I've used. I once bought the 18mm f2.8 lens and I actually made a whole video with it, not about it. And after using that lens, I had some frustrations with it, also with the autofocus, and I returned it. And a few months ago, I bought their 35mm f1.8. I took a few pictures with it, also tested it out for video, and gosh, the autofocus again really bothered me. I'm not going to write off Samyang yet. I think there's a lot of promise, a lot of potential, and I'm happy to try them again in the future. It's a terrible lens. You know, Samyang can suck it. Okay, maybe that's a little harsh. I just don't like this lens. The second lens that I'm going to be selling or giving away is the 11mm f1.8 lens. And this lens is an APS-C format lens, and I don't have an APS-C format camera anymore. I did have a Sony ZV-E10, and this is the lens that I use for vlogging, and I really liked how small and lightweight it was, but I rarely reach for it. When I put it on full frame camera bodies, it crops in 1.5 because I have to enable Super 35 mode or APS-C mode. So the focal length or focal field of view is more like 16 or 17 millimeters. And personally, I don't think I need a focal length this wide. I've got the 20-70 f4G lens, which I'm filming with right now, and 20 millimeters is plenty wide. The next lens is the 28-60 variable aperture lens, and this came with the Sony ZV-E1. I originally just wanted to buy the ZV-E1 body only, but it wasn't in stock at the store that I was buying it at, and I didn't really want to buy anything online because I live in the middle of nowhere and getting things shipped to where I live is kind of a pain in the ass. So when I went into the store, they only had the one with the kit lens, and they gave me a really big discount such that this lens was basically free. I don't like this lens for one very obvious reason. You need to twist it in order to enable it. And then you twist it again in order to store it away when you're not using it. Personally, I find that so weird and also slows me down. If there's something that I want to capture, like this is an extra step or two. It's extra, it's too much. So this has to go. The next lens is the 16-50 APS-C lens that came with my ZV-E10. This is the kit lens that typically comes with most APS-C Sony camera bodies. There's nothing wrong with it. I enjoyed using it for quite some time before I acquired more lenses, but I just want it off my shelf and out of sight and out of mind. The next three lenses are Canon EF. So before moving over to Sony last year, I was a die-hard Canon user. I still have a lot of my Canon EF lenses because I was holding out for a DSLR revival. So the first Canon lens that I'm going to be selling is the 135mm f2. This was my dream lens for many, many years, but 135mm is such a weird focal length. I made a video about this 2 years ago, and it was like one of my first videos that I ever made on this channel about camera gear. It was really just a practice video. Don't go back and watch it. It's just a bunch of footage of me getting stuck in the snow and falling over. You need to really know your space really well if you're going to use a zoomed in prime lens like this. The next lens that I'm going to be selling is the 28-70 f2.8L lens. This lens came out in 1993. I didn't buy it in 1993. I was 4 years old in 1993. Some of you weren't even born yet. This lens I got used about 2 years ago, and it was like a nice alternative to the 24-70, but this lens is so heavy, and combined with a Canon DSLR, it's like carrying 5 soup cans, or maybe 2 kilograms. I don't know. I don't know my weights in both, like, I'm Canadian, so we use both like kilograms and pounds, inches and centimeters, kilometers, miles. It doesn't make sense. We measure distance by hours. So, anyways, so I think this cost me like half or a third of what a brand new 24-70 would cost. So I was trying to like cut corners in that regard. But personally, I never found a use for this lens, but it performs really well. It's still in good quality, so I'm pretty sure I'll get some money out of it. The final lens that I'm selling or giving away is the 70-300 Canon EF lens. I do remember purchasing this in 2019, so wow, it's been 5 years. And I rarely use it. I originally bought it for taking photos of wildlife or birds. And while the focal range is really good and the contrast is really good, the autofocus is very, very good. In fact, I think the value or the price of this lens has gone up since I bought it. I don't use it anymore. It's been probably a year since I used it because around last year, I bought the 70-200 f4G lens and I moved over to Sony. And I also got the teleconverter, so now I've got focal ranges between 70-400, so this focal range isn't really useful to me anymore. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all 7 lenses that I'm going to be decluttering and liquidating from my collection, but I still have a ton of other lenses that I'm keeping, but we're not going to talk about that because that's going to start to really reveal what a hoarder I am. All right, so what's next for me? Well, I recorded a lot of footage of the autumn colors, or the fall colors as we say here in Canada, and I've been procrastinating that video because I have all this lovely footage, but I don't really have a story to go along with it to, I don't know, make it interesting. And so I have a feeling that if I don't come up with kind of a video plan for that autumn footage, I'm probably just going to make a silent vlog. So here's where I have a lot of thoughts. I'm aware that almost every video that I put out is very different from each other. The only thing that really connects each video to each other is the fact that it's related to photography. And I've thought a lot about whether I want to hyper focus on one area of photography. And the answer is I want to talk about all of them. I don't really want to pigeonhole myself into just one area. Reality is I'm a human being. I have many interests, and I don't want to be limited to just one type of video. And this channel was created originally to document my life and document my interests and my journey through photography. So I want to just continue making videos that I enjoy making, that I have fun with. And I really just want to thank you for sticking around and putting up with my diverse interests. So thank you so much for watching, and maybe I'll see you in the next one. Bye.